Baby, you don't stand no chance for it. Yeah, 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 yeah. So good, baby. Was it really when I like that? Tell me. Oh. See, I'm moving on, and I refuse to turn back. Yeah, baby, like that. It's time. But I have somebody down for me. It's time to turn back. Put your picture on my mirror. Start to blush when somebody says your name. In my stomach, there's a pain. You walk in my direction, I go the other way. I start to stutter when I speak. Try to stand on my knees, go weak. What's happening to me? In the dark, can you tell me what you mean? I lay my head on my pillow, staring out the window. Trying to stop for a sign. The reason why. Because of my mind, come around and shine. I see you, when I see you. Open my phone, so I gotta be loud. I see you, when I see you. Scribble X and O's in my notebook. Second half, in the zone. Focus on the chest. Good morning, Tim. Good morning, everyone. You're the number one topic on the phone. I wonder if you know, do you have a clue? I lay my head on my pillow. Hey, staring out the window. Show the stuff. What did you say? What did you do at night?
Shout out to the Young Podcast. Come on, ATL.
Hey, Steve. Y'all joining? Yes, yummy. Put in the chat, y'all joining us from the night. What city?
You guys look so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank y'all. Come on in the room.
We got Eastern. We got H-Town.
Hey, Miss Cherry. Hey, Sierra. Hey, Irie. Thank you. Thank you.
Yay.
Hey,
So Midwest. From Switzerland.
Look, you get the farthest right now to share. Anybody out there a farther distance than Mr. Shea?
To share is
To share.
in
And then we got
Switzerland.
yes.
Come through, everybody.
Everybody.
Hello, 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 hello.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
We are so glad you guys are in the room tonight. We are so glad.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're, as you see, my name is neither Crystal nor Dr. McCullough.
That part.
My name is David, and I'm so happy to be moderating this conversation today with these two giants. We are here for no other reason but to celebrate the relaunch of Yummy Podcast. So if you're excited, give us some love, put us some love in the comments section.
Yeah. And look, get your drinks ready. Get your drinks ready because
Yes.
we want to toast.
We are toasting.
We are toasting.
I will not be opening the champagne bottle. I don't like pop.
Yes, get a drink, get a glass of wine or something with us, y'all. We are gonna celebrate.
Yes, yes, yes.
Get one more for David. Yes, we are gonna celebrate. So get your glasses on. We would love it. I see those toasting glasses.
Anybody out there toasting with us?
Yes. Come on, screen. We want to see y'all toast with us. Yes. We are gonna toast. Let's see.
It's a reason to celebrate and to live your best life, right?
Yes,
yes,
thank
and
you.
yes.
We are so excited, you all. Thank you for joining us tonight. We know that you all could be anywhere doing anything, but you're taking the time to celebrate with us. Do you have your glasses? Anybody got some glasses? Anybody toasting with us tonight? Get some wine, something. Come on, let's toast. David.
Cheers to the Yummy Podcast.
Woo!
Woo, woo, woo.
Many seasons, many episodes. Good, yummy.
Good
And
yumminess.
you know what? May it touch the heart of the people that hear it.
Yeah.
One of the things we always say, you guys, is our God can take one conversation and touch many souls.
Yeah.
So may it touch everyone that hears it and spread some light in the world.
That part.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers,
everybody.
everybody.
Cheers, everybody.
Okay.
That's yummy.
That's yummy. Pun intended.
Right.
So anybody curious, anybody been looking at some of the stuff that's outside? We see there's a lot of special guests that are included in this season. In this season, we have, of course, the wisdom of Crystal Khalil and Dr. Nicola Beach, but we also have, Trina Braxton is also on the episodes. We have Latavia Roberson from Destiny's Child is on the episode. We have Gary with the T from the Ricky Smiley Morning Show and Dish Nation and a host of others. Have you guys been seeing those things? We hope you have and enjoying the things you're seeing so far.
Yeah.
So to jump right into it, let's go ahead and start with the trailer that shows a little bit about Yummy and who it is.
All right, hold on. Hey, I see Miss Reed in there, North Carolina in the house.
Hey,
Hello. All right. We're going to share a little bit of the trailer.
We used to say yummy just to describe anything good. And we said it so often. And then one day it was like we were sitting at the table. You know what? I think yummy's an acronym. I said, your ultimate, most, and you said meaningful. Yeah. And we were like,
Oh, we gotta put it down.
I
You really want me to tell her, well, I'm the drag queen? Is that what it is?
just got to throw this in there. I saw y'all perform at the atrium on Memorial Drive. I'm Crystal Khalil.
And I'm Dr. Nicola Beach.
Welcome to another delightful, delicious episode of Yummy Podcast.
So that is just a little bit of a snippet. We'll get into the rest of it, but just a little bit about the Yummy Podcast. Just curious, does anybody in the audience already know what Yummy stands for?
Put it in the chat if you know what the acronym of Yummy stands for. We want to see who gets in there first.
Let's see who gets in there first. Your most meaningful you yet. Almost, Olivia. You close.
Your
Who is that?
ultimate-
Ariana? Ariana, you don't count.
Right.
Let me see
Your
her.
ultimate-
Yeah, Sierra got it.
I think
Tiffany does too. Tiffany got it too.
but Sierra got it first, right? So I think that deserves a gift card.
Ariana, you count, but
You
we
count.
can't let.
Right. But
Not the,
you
not the
know
gift
what it
card.
is. So I think that deserves a gift card. So Sierra,
Woo, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Please send an in message to let's see who do we want it to go to Milan. You'll see Milan in the chat. Can you message Milan in the chat with your email address? We are going to send you a $25 Yummy gift card to our Yummy store.
Congratulations, congratulations. And there's going to be more surprises coming in store as well. So yes, Yummy is an acronym for your ultimate, most meaningful yet. I'm curious how many people actually know what that is. Is that something that you feel, that you ladies feel like people know how to unlock their most meaningful yet? Crystal, what do you think?
I think that is a practice that we all have to work on. We have to do the work. And it's an ever evolving process of understanding who you are without all the roles, without all the things that the world says defines you, all of the expectations of other people, your circle of influence. Who are you without all those things? And it truly is an ever evolving process, something that I personally work on every single day.
Now, Dr. Nicole, to that point, do you feel like Yummy is a destination or a constant marathon?
I think it's constant because as you're growing and you're moving from transformation to transformation, level to level, glory to glory, whatever you see as your highest self, you're maturing in that process. So it's as you mature and you recognize, oh, wow, you know, I never thought that I could have boundaries. I thought boundaries was going to keep people out of my life. Now, as I've matured to this point in conversation, I recognize boundaries attracts healthy relationships and repositions how I move in relationships that do not serve me, that are not good for me or good to me. So once you start that conversation 3 years from now, you may be really practiced in the art of positive and healthy boundaries. So I feel like it's awareness, then it's insight and revelation, and then awareness again, and it just keeps going as you grow.
Okay, yeah, I think that's amazing. So one thing that the purpose of this and Crystal and Dr. Nicole would agree that this is more than just a podcast, right? This is really aimed at helping individuals, every single listener, every person that we come in contact with, to help them unlock what their yummy is. So everyone that's listening, this is a homework assignment for you right now. I want everyone to grab your phones, grab a piece of paper, grab something, a notepad, a scratch sheet of paper, something, and a pen. And I want you to do something, and you can even do it just in a different screen on your own chat. Maybe you just send it to yourself right here on Zoom. But what I'd like you to do is take a moment to think about, what is your ultimate most meaningful yet? What does that look like for you? Does that mean you're in a new business?
No.
Does that mean you're in a new career field? Does it actually mean that you're repairing relationships with people you haven't talked to in decades? Does that mean that you're now your own biggest supporter, where you might have been your biggest critic and now you're determined to be your biggest supporter? What does yummy, your ultimate, most meaningful yet, look like? So as you write and think about what that is, we actually have to, we made a mistake, and I want to go ahead and offer apology to every single person listening. I know a computer's gonna crash.
Okay.
And because Dr. Nicole, I know she knows why, it was an important step that we forgot in the process.
Yes.
Dr. Nicole.
So it is now eloquently named the Wiggle Challenge. Everybody put your hand in front of your face. Now, those who are not on camera, you know we want to see you, because you know energy is everything.
Energy
to
is
us,
everything,
right?
y'all. Come
So
on.
we want to see your face, because your face lights up our face.
And hey,
right?
Charles.
Hi, Charles. Hi, Olivia. Hi, Tashea. Hi, Toya. Hi, Sis.
Come
Hi,
on, it's so
Tiffany.
good to see y'all.
Hi,
Oh my
Iris.
God, hey, Toya.
Listen, we get
Hey,
dressed up.
Sandra.
We get dressed up for y'all, but we have no expectations or judgment. Oh, everybody on the
Hey, everybody.
Who's that, Doreen? Oh my God, it's so good to see y'all. Okay,
We just
okay,
want to see
hands up, wiggle challenge.
hands in front of your face, and now wiggle, 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 wiggle. Now take the mask off and put it on your table, your desk, on your couch. Now, because we know our audience is brilliant, we know that you're probably thinking, yeah, they got rid of one. But I got about 6 of those bad boys on to navigate this thing called my life. So put your hand in front of your face again and wiggle some more. Wiggle some more. Take those masks off and put them down. Because what you will notice with us, you don't need them when you're with us.
Yeah,
We want your authentic self.
yeah.
We want you to recognize that who you be is not good English, but who you be is what is valued. We recognize you get commended for what you do,
Yeah.
and you get a salary for what you do. But who you be is your most authentic self, and that's who we want to have conversation with.
And we realize too, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
David, we realize in this world of virtual, right, and Zoom, sometimes that little black screen with your name on it can be your mask.
That's hard.
So we understand that some of y'all are driving, or you have your babies, or you have different things. So could if you David.
That's a lot of people use their phones.
So if you're not on camera, if you're not on camera and you can, please join us, because we like to see you. Energy is transferable.
Absolutely.
But if you cannot join, can you put a 1 in the chat if you're gonna agree to take the mask off, even though we can't see you? Can you put a 1 in the chat?
Yep.
I see you, Bridget. Yes.
I see
Come on.
it. I see it.
Come on in. Come on in.
Come on. Yes. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you,
We
Charles.
see that. Thank you. Come on. Yes, I see those ones. Thank you.
Why
Thank
do
you.
I feel that song coming in. Come on.
In
In the
I'm sorry.
Come
on in
The spirit, my doctor. Yes.
Write up all of my scriptures and give me all of my medicine in my room.
That was impromptu, y'all. That's why we say take the mask off, because whatever hits us is what we go with, and it keeps us smiling, because how many of us know it's dark out here right now as a
Yeah.
world, and there's a lot of heaviness and it's a lot going on,
Yeah.
right? So we want to celebrate and enjoy being in the room with each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So now, thanks to Dr. Nicole, we've taken the mask off.
Yes.
So we've taken off mom, executive, parent, leader, entrepreneur, director of whatever that is, and allowing the soul of each and every one of you to speak. Now, allow your soul on that sheet of paper to tell you and your mask, in a sense, what your ultimate, most meaningful yet really looks like.
And that can be in relationships, that can be in business, that can be in your finances, right? What is your yummy life? What is your yummy business? What is your yummy career? What do your yummy finances look like? What's your yummy marriage look like? Your yummy relationship look like? What about your yummy relationship with your children, or your yummy relationship with your parents, right? What is most important to you right now to live yummy? Write that in your notebook.
And while you're all writing, speaking of finances, we're going to give a special shout out to sponsor, Ms. Sandra M. Davis, who's joining us. It's great to have you. Thank you so much for being here.
Sandra, are you able to come
Hi, congratulations.
introduce yourself and tell everybody why you thought it was important for you to sponsor the Yummy Podcast? Uh-oh, you're muted.
Yep, hold on. Okay, the Yummy Podcast, just being the brainchild of you two, I knew it was going to be a success. And I said, you all have these masterful minds. I've personally grown and eliminated some things and added some things. So, anytime I can be part of a successful community, I jump at the chance. So community service is part of my law firm, Sandra M. Davis, PC, just hashtag your auto accident attorney. But I believe in supporting Black-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, and I put my money where my mouth is. So anything I could do, to the extent that I could do it, it's just a priority to me. So I appreciate you all so much. I'm proud of you. I was happy to be there last night, and much success.
Thank you so much, Sandra.
Davis.
Listen, your auto accident attorney, if you're in Atlanta and you need an auto accident attorney, call Sandra, your auto accident attorney. Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you. Yeah. All right.
Oh, wait, no.
Uh-oh. Listen, I'm doing too much.
Okay, awesome. So while you all are writing, let's go ahead and jump back to the rest of that clip.
Right.
Teaching our Yummy methodology, how to unbind and unleash your unlimited potential by liberating your mind from those belief systems and structures and processes that no longer serve you.
I was talking and she was like, stop. Why do you still think you're the dishwasher?
Ooh.
Ooh. And she was like, who are you proving to? Everybody sees you. You're validated. There's no one else that needs to validate you but you.
I want to leave a legacy to my children. I don't want to buy a whole bunch of purses and shoes and jeans and that kind of stuff. That's only making someone else richer.
Yeah.
I would like to pour that into my children so that they can have their own children and it might be easier for them.
Generational legacy.
Easier for the next generation, not harder.
We all know who Beyonce is and love her. How has that experience been for you?
I guess there is a certain amount of comparison. I always knew my place in the group. I've been working since I was 6. And then for that to happen because of something that has to do with business, it was hurtful, but you know what? We move on and time heals all wounds.
I don't see anything in you that can't go for this. So go for it. Go afraid. I'm willing to support you in this yummy part of your journey. That piece is a game changer.
I'm listening to Will Smith's podcast and I was like, I think I want to try that one day.
That's how they probably got the courage to smack Chris Rock.
Was it
Now,
the
see,
ayahuasca?
Yeah,
Nasty.
because like it was summon your ultimate self and like, put you in a space and place where like, you don't gotta tolerate this no more, right? And then like whatever it needs to do for you is what it will do for you because everybody has different needs.
Put your hand in front of your face and just wiggle. Now put it on your lap. That mask of roles, responsibilities.
One more time though, because Valika, I feel like you got another one
A
on.
couple of them, right?
I'm kind of nervous. So that's not going to take it on. Come on.
Put
Got
it
it.
like yes. Your ultimate, most meaningful yet. What is that for Gary?
Out of relationship wise, taking care of my mom. A friend of mine told me, she said, you know what, Gary, after your daddy died, you just stepped in and took off where he left. After he died, I went to my mom. I said, well, do you want a house? She said, well, if you're gonna buy it, I'll take it. She went look for a house, she found a house, and I bought it.
Take your glasses off and tell us who head crack is.
I'm an allergy sufferer. That's why. I wear my glasses today.
And tell him about gonna get the put back on. Next thing you know, another train comes, kills the dog.
And the moral of the story?
Don't lose your life over a piece of tail. That one.
We invite you all to join us on this yummy journey. This yummy journey to discover your ultimate, most meaningful yet. And as we ask our guests, we'll ask you, what yummy life awaits you?
Awesome.
Yay!
Did you guys enjoy that?
Put a 1 in the chat if you enjoyed that.
So you hear a lot of conversation. You hear a lot, even
Thank you,
what we're
Casey.
talking about here, what we're even seeing in the trailer. We're seeing several things that saying unlocking this thing, and it's this newness that we're talking about. So Dr. Nicole, who were you and who are you now?
A really hard worker
That's who you were.
is who I was. Good English. Who I was. Seeking approval. So I grew up as a caretaker child, right? And when I thought that was probably not enough, I became the brilliant caretaker child. So it was overachievement. It was trying to race to every finish line, not taking a whole lot of notes, making a lot of moments and memories, but trying to constantly check boxes that would make people say, good job. You're selfless. Look at how kind and good you are. So not really having a personal litmus test, but looking outside for the guarantees by things I could achieve. Now, vulnerability is a conversation that I'm consistent in because I don't want to just do. I want to connect and be connected with, and holding the space for others to achieve their highest and best while I'm doing the same. So now I'm holding space for myself. And instead of looking outside for the guarantees, I absolutely recognize I'm the guarantee that I was looking for the whole time.
Wow, powerful.
Yeah.
Crystal, same question.
So I grew up, I was raised by two very hardworking parents. My mother is from Greenville, Alabama, a little bitty town most people have never heard of. My father is from Beaumont, Texas. My mom she picked cotton when she was a little girl. My dad grew up on a farm. And they taught me you have to work twice as hard to get half. Put a 2 in the chat if you've ever heard that from your circle of influence, right? You got to work twice as hard to get half. And with that, you know, I always was striving for that perfection. I was what we call the brilliant child, the first one to go to college, got a good job. I remember being so excited to go into my corporate office because my mother worked in a manufacturing plant. My father was a truck driver his entire life. So for me going into a corporate office, it was a big deal. And I remember walking through that office and I was all excited because I've got my degree and here I am in this nice corporate space. And as I walked around and looked around that office, I started to feel something that I couldn't explain. I started to feel alone because as I looked around that office, I didn't see anybody who looked like me. Matter of fact, my friend Charles from my very first job is on here tonight. Shout out to Charles. We worked at Zep Manufacturing together. And when I started working there were no people of color in the office. All the people of color worked out on the docks and in the manufacturing plant. So as I walked around there, it was like, wow, where are the people who look like me?
Yeah.
And all the confidence that I had with my new degree started to drain. And I defaulted to what my hardworking parents taught me. You got to work twice as hard to get half. Yeah. Right. So I could meet every expectation. I got exceeds expectations on my performance reviews, but they weren't moving me and growing me into corporate America, into leadership positions. And I remember having a conversation after 8 years of that, even going back to get my degree, because I thought it was something that I needed to get to that next level. Have you ever found yourself wanting for more and knowing that you're working as hard as you can, but it's not happening for you? So you start looking at yourself and you start thinking, what else do I need? Do I need another certificate? Do I need another degree? Right. So I went back, got my master's degree, and then it still didn't happen for me. So I made a decision that I had to move. I had to leave that corporation. And when I had that exit interview, I said, you know, I've worked hard. You keep giving me exceed expectations, but I'm not being moved into a leadership position. And my boss at the time gave me the best advice I'd ever received. And he said, you are the hardest worker, but that is all you will ever be until you learn how to network. Mm-hmm. People hired and fired, promoted and demoted over drinks, water cooler conversations. Mm-hmm. People promote people that they know, like, and trust, right? And because I had learned to keep my head down, my nose clean, right? Keep work, personal, come in, do my job. I had not built the connections necessary to grow within that organization. Yeah. And from that lesson, I completely changed the way that I did business. In my next role, I had a new mantra: hard workers work hard and networkers move up. I wrote a book about it. And it's just about how I navigated through corporate America from that point forward to grow in my career. So I have made a transition in my life from that hard worker to a networker, so not someone that just networks for surface level business, but who wants to make true, authentic connections. And that's what God did when we met. We met through business. Yeah. And I remember the first time we went out for lunch together, where it was just the two of us. I showed up in my professional, head of procurement role, and she showed up in her professional CEO of Volition Enterprises role. And within 5 minutes, those masks fell off, and we were just Crystal and Nicole. So to answer the question, who am I now? I am a person that every day looks to be better than I was yesterday. I'm a person that is trying to find my I amness beneath all the roles, trying to find my happy, my purpose, my God-given purpose, so that when I leave this earth, what I hear is, well done, my good and faithful servant.
Yeah, for
Wow, that is so powerful.
For sure.
So as you continue to search for, you said you're happy and all of that, how is that journey for you? Because obviously you are the experts, but you are all still human as well.
Absolutely.
So what does that journey look like as you continue to search for that?
I think one of the things that's so amazing is we don't see ourselves as experts or heroes. We just see ourselves as guides.
Mhm.
We've been put on a journey, and God has illuminated some assignments in our lives. He says, I know the plans that I have for you, plans plural, Jeremiah 29:11. So by the time Crystal and I got together, she had done amazing things corporately, had traveled the world. I had done amazing things. I had took the leap out of corporate America, started my own business, and had an amazing career. And then God said, now, here is another part of the plan, which is to help people unbind and unleash their unlimited potential as we're continuously seeking to do the same for us. Because as we go from level to level, we learn the nuances of this conversation of the yummy. And then what we do is try to illuminate and shed light on that conversation so people can turn their light up so that other people can see the path.
Mhm.
Because it's a movement. It's giving ourselves permission to have a level of freedom and acceptance in what is yummy versus what is good. Because
Wow.
there are a lot of things that are good that you can do.
Mhm.
And if you're talented or you're committed or you are persistent, you can do a lot of good stuff. You can even do great stuff. But is it your ultimate most meaningful yet?
Wow.
Mm.
Now, that shout out to Crystal and Dr. Nicole, right? That was pretty powerful stuff. So one thing that I don't know, maybe there's no one that's thought this that's out there. I don't know if there's anybody that's out there that thought this and said, you know what? That sounds amazing. That
But
sounds
no.
beautiful. And I'm so happy for your success and your little show, people put that, people like to do that. I saw your little podcast out there. I saw you live with your family and saw your little event, whatever. That's so fantastic for you. But to be honest, I'm just a simple person that's doing fill in the blank. I'm simple, secretary. I'm a simple executive. I'm simple mom. I'm a simple dad or whatever that your natural branded, your go-to, how you identify yourself as I'm just this. How can I, who hasn't found my Nicole, that hasn't found my Crystal, how do I take this first step into this journey of yummy?
Ooh, it starts with doing your work. Both Nicole and I have been doing our work for a very long time, and we're still doing our work. Literally, we are doing our work every day. And finding your authentic self without the mask, being able to communicate your true needs, and having we have a mindset. We always say a mindset of service, humility, and excellence, right? And understanding that my light does not dim her light does not dim my light. Because we've, when coming into partnership with each other, we heard everything from partnerships or sinking ships, right? Women can't work together, Black women can't work together. We heard all those things. And we had some challenges that, people had challenges. We were able to see what God was doing, right? And so every day we do our work, we're authentic. When something needs to be addressed, we address it.
Yeah.
We have open communication. So in order to attract those yummy relationships and maintain and sustain those relationships, it's always you first. You always have to go first. Often with the people that we work with and the people you'll hear us talking to on the podcast, you'll hear, if they would only do this, right? People like to point the finger at somebody else, but the finger always starts here first, right? I'm responsible for me. Dr. Nicole is responsible for her. And as long as the two of us do our work and show up authentically without the mask, there's nothing that we can't overcome.
Absolutely.
And too, I think you said something powerful. I'm just a secretary. I'm just a mom. I'm just simple. Anything that has to have a qualifier before it
Just
is telling you that there's another conversation with self that has to be had. Because when it's said that I know the plans I have for you, that means there are callings. It's multiple. So for you to say where I am at 24 should be where I am at 34, should be where I am at 54, that is a wonderful flag that is waving and saying, you're not having the right conversation about the moves that you're making to hide, protect, defend, and prove. Because when you stop having those conversations, authenticity starts to show up beyond the label of, I'm just a simple whatever. Well, then what does that mean? How many things do you do because you're trying to prove to someone something about you, or you're trying to hide from someone something about you? Once you start to have those conversations, you start to recognize there is no such thing as just a mom.
Right.
Where is she?
Right. Just
Where
a
she's
wife.
just a wife,
Mhm.
just a mom.
Mhm.
It's simplified because you haven't given yourself permission to have the real conversation about how extraordinary you are and what the purpose is that God has put you here for.
Absolutely. You actually speak to kind of a topic that came up in your conversation, I believe, with Trina Braxton, and talking about, the legacy. Legacy was an important part of that conversation, be it from her mom, being from her sisters, being for her, going down to her children, and legacy. And witnessing some of the things that are great, as well as things that she wanted to do differently.
Yeah.
How much of who we become is connected to those that created us?
Oh my gosh. Jeez. It's, we talk about, we have a Yummy methodology. And in it, the first step of our Yummy methodology is liberation.
Yeah.
And that's liberation from the belief systems and the mindsets that are formed in us around the age of 6, believe it or not, right? And it's from our circle of influence. So if you think about it, type in the chat. Yes, I see you, Nico. Generational trauma is real. Type in the chat what your circle of influence was as a child. Who were the people that formed your belief system? Even just starting at the basic of whether you're a boy or a girl. What did they teach you about what it means to be a boy, what it means to be a girl, right? What did they teach you about what was proper and what was improper? What did they teach you about what was a good job, what was a bad job? What was safe, what was not safe? Family and church, Casey, absolutely. Daddy said be respectful, period. Yes, Charles, right? Respect adults. You got to work twice as hard. It's not enough to be average. You got to be excellent. What are some of those, who are those people in your circle of influence? And you'll be amazed. It's the church, it's your grandparents, your school. It can even be as micro as the city, the town, the suburb, the neighborhood that you grew up in. What was what was proper, what was taught to you as a belief system from that child. And then you think about, Charles, yes, nobody's gonna take care of you. Yes, and they don't do time for anyone. Yes. Oh my God, Casey, what goes on in this house stays in this house. Put a 1 in the chat if you heard that, right? In our community.
Absolutely.
Boy, what goes on in this
Standard.
house, it's a standard, right?
yeah.
So those are the things that we learn as children. And what we don't realize is we fall into roles as children. We named 4 roles in our tribe. The brilliant one, who is affirmed for good grades, or they're the sports star, right? They're the high achiever. And then you have the caretaker, which is the one that's looking out for everybody else, making sure everybody else, they're the little mama in the house or the little daddy in the house, right? They're the caretaker. Then you have the sickly one or needy one, right? They're always, they're affirmed because they're just needy. And then you have the one that is labeled the troublemaker, or the one that's always getting in trouble for something, right? Because they're like, I'll take whatever attention I can get, even if it's bad attention, right? So we fall into one of those 4 roles as children. And what we don't realize is we carry that into adulthood. So if you were the brilliant child as a little kid, now you're the brilliant adult. Now you're living because you want everybody else, you want to please everybody else. You want achievement is so important to you. And you don't realize that it started when you were 6, right? It's all about getting a better job and getting, a bigger
More
house
accolades.
and getting more accolades and more degrees. And you're always, striving. And here's the thing. When you are the brilliant one, you're a fixer. You take care of everything. So now as an adult, everybody's coming to you for help.
And she's not talking about me.
Right. It's not you. It's
Right.
not you, David.
If you were the brilliant child growing up, right? You're the one that is taking care of everything for everybody else. You're the fixer. And we don't realize how often as that brilliant child, we attract people who need to be fixed. We attract the people who are the troubled ones, right? If you're a caretaker as a child and you need some more, you said, I need more. You're the caretaker as a child.
Getting too real, it's getting too real, y'all.
And you grow up and now you're the caretaker adult. You're still taking care of everybody else. You're putting yourself last. You've got a to-do list with everybody on it but you.
Yeah.
Right?
That's exactly it.
So that's how we start as children, right? That circle of influence helps to affirm us in one of those roles. And then we grow up and we don't realize how those roles, how that little girl or that little boy is still running your life, still driving your car, still making your decisions, still picking your mate.
Yeah. And I think sometimes too, we don't recognize the subtleties that set us on some of the courses that we're on. The people who many of us grew up with, they loved us. Whether they disappointed us or they didn't always do the things that we thought aligned with their role, often people give you what they have. And it's not always based on what you need. Often it's based on what they have to give. It's interesting the work that I do now and the work that I've done on myself because, I grew up with immigrant parents. So they came over here from the Caribbean and my mom came over here and she was deported. Not because she did a crime or anything like that, not that it matters, but she came over here for the American dream. And based on a relationship with a young lady that was a friend, she got deported. The young lady said to her one day, America is not big enough for both of us.
The whole country.
America.
Not just the city.
It's not big enough for the both of us because she had desires for a young man that had desires for my mom. So my mom was like, I cried from New York to Canada. And when I got to Canada, the immigration officer, I think it's fair to say he thought she was attractive. And he could see that she was really upset because she had been crying. She's a very fair-skinned woman. And he asked her what was wrong. She said nothing. And he said, how long are you planning on being in Canada? And she said 2 weeks. He said, you can't see Canada in 2 weeks. So he stamped her passport, landed so she could stay in Canada as long as she wanted. And her tenacity and persistence helped her to work her way back to America to become a citizen, landowner, homeowner, business owner. But some of the limiting beliefs from her injuries, she passed on to me as her daughter. And I remember, you know, in growing up, my mom saying to me, friends are your friends until they know, for whenever your friends become your foe all over the world, your secrets shall go.
Every time I hear that, I'm like bone chilling.
Trust no one. Trust no one. So she didn't mean that to be harmful. She meant that as a cloak of protection because it's the armor that she wore. It was my job to get to the point of saying, so I inherited this and I'm covered from head to toe. Is it working? Is it working? Beyond judging that it was not good for me. Now I get to say, it's not good for me anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I have to do my work to find another way. So now when people are like, you create such a safe place for me to be seen and for me to be heard, and I connect with you, and I sit there and say, I would have never gotten to this part of my yummy. That's yummy for me, right? Because I came from a mom who was very successful, but always held that I'm waiting for the next shoe to drop. So you'll never get to fully connect with me. That was as far as she could go. And I wanted more for myself. I wanted to actually have genuine connections and friendships. But again, part of the yummy is awareness that moves into liberation and activation. So once you know, you got to do the work to get to the other side of that awareness.
Absolutely. That's really good. That's shout out to both Chris and Dr. Nicole for those nuggets of wisdom. I hope you guys are taking notes on these things. And it's interesting because, you know, I was thinking about it a little bit earlier today, that this is a very timely, this is actually not really an optional conversation.
Agreed.
This is actually not something that just seems nice in theory.
Yeah.
Right. I remember can't remember which one said it, that, you know, what is the cost of you not living your ultimate most meaningful yet? And so
That's something y'all should put down on your notebook, in your notes.
That's a great question.
What is the cost of you not living your ultimate most meaningful yet? So you've already defined your ultimate most meaningful yet. If you're following along, what's the cost of you not achieving that?
Absolutely. And also too, we also have to know that in this world that we live in, mental health issues are actually contagious. And there's absolutely no way to avoid them. So prime example, we're sitting here at a table and all of a sudden we're having a conversation. If I just whop Crystal right here, break her glasses, now she's had a traumatic experience that she's gonna have to work through.
Yeah.
Right? Something that she wasn't expecting.
Yeah.
But now she has to work through. When you guys are speaking to some of the people, let's talk about how we might even need to clean the house first, to clean through some traumas in order to clean the kitchen before we start cooking.
Man,
we say, especially
clean the kitchen before we start cooking.
Before you start cooking.
Okay, Davy.
That's a free one right there.
We say, assume that therapy can bless you. Just make the assumption.
Amen to that.
The same way you assume that when you go into a grocery store, there will be groceries. Assume that things like coaching, therapy, accountability can help you and serve you for your highest and best self. Because it is unreasonable to think that you are living a trauma-free experience called a life. It's just unreasonable. Once you know that there have been levels of trauma, if you've lost loved ones, if there have been tragedies, if there's been violence, if there's been loss, these are human experiences. But if you don't get help and support in understanding and navigating your human experience, you are positioning yourself to have a level of self-bondage.
Mm.
And the problem with self-bondage is you often want company.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
So your kids got to be in there with you. Your husband's got to be in there with you. Your wife's got to be in there with you. And if you're not careful, your understanding of their love for you is them wanting to be incarcerated with you. Versus being able to say, my job is to free myself so that I don't incarcerate
good.
anybody else.
That's good.
That's really
That's
good.
really good.
That's really good.
Is that a tweetable?
That's so good.
But it's real, right?
Yeah.
So when people say things like, this is just who I am, this is just the way I am, that is so ridiculous in the most respectful way, of course. Because if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
So if you're literally doing the same thing and having the same conversation, look at your children and your wife. Look at your husband and your kids. Look at your dog. Everybody is aging with you. And if you're stuck on, but this is where I am, you're not growing, you're dying, and you're killing other people. But because they love you, they're waiting, hoping that you will one day say, I don't want to hurt like this anymore. And I don't want them hurting like this. So let me go to somebody to see what's possible for me. And what we say is, there's help for anything that's going on with you. Often when we're growing up, the people that have caused pain, they can't help us cure it. And because they love us, they have a way of making it appear that whatever is ailing us, there's not a lot of help for it because it wasn't intentional. And what Crystal and I say is, honor them, but free yourself.
Can somebody type that in?
That's good. Honor them, but free yourself.
Honor them, but free
free
yourself. Can somebody type that nugget in the chat?
Mother said, if you don't want me, then don't talk to me. Go ahead. And free
Don't talk to me, right? Honor them and free yourself.
You know, that actually brings up and
Thank
leads
you, Kate.
into a very interesting conversation we had yesterday at the launch about boundaries. And one of the episodes that are in this season is with Gary with the T. And when he came to the launch yesterday, he talked about he enjoyed himself so much and he still implements some of the lessons in boundaries. Crystal, do you remember some of that conversation? I want to share with you.
Want me to share it?
I was gonna say you want to talk about it. We don't necessarily have to play.
Talk about it.
Yeah. You know, it's what's so funny with Gary with the T. I just love his episode. Y'all, I can't wait for
just
you all to
funny.
watch that
He's
because
crazy.
he's just so funny, but he's a genuine, loving, authentic person.
Very much so.
But we had some challenges even getting Gary to the set. Right?
Crazy.
Gary,
I forgot about that. That's
Cheers
true.
to that.
It was 2 days. It took 2 days.
it
didn't
took 2 days to get Gary
Yeah.
to the set, right? And it was to the point where we were like, listen, if he can't make it, it's
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
We want the energy to be right. You know, we're here for God's purpose. If he can't make it, it's okay, right? And he comes. And episode is so you actually get to watch Gary having a coaching session live
Mhm.
Yeah.
and the epiphanies that he's having during the conversation. And when we get off the stage, we walk off the stage, Gary looked at us and said, I thought this was gonna be some bullshit.
That's exactly.
That's really what he said.
I thought this was gonna be
That's
some
really what he said.
bull.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
like, but y'all really changed my life. He's like, I didn't know I don't have any boundaries. I didn't realize I don't have any boundaries, right?
Mhm.
And then last night he came to the launch, the live launch here in Atlanta. And we recorded, 2 months ago?
Yeah.
We recorded 2 months ago.
Feels like more.
And it seems like,
Yeah.
it feels like more. But he's like, you all don't know how much you changed my life in that one conversation. He's like, I have boundaries now.
Yeah.
I actually have boundaries now. I can tell people no when I feel like telling them no. I can protect my headspace, right? And he's like, I want to come back. I want to come back on the next season, which is powerful. And we appreciate
Yeah.
that, because for a guest to say, I actually want to come back, especially when we are having unmasked conversations,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that was pretty powerful.
Absolutely, absolutely. It was a lot of lessons, even in just in the recording process. There was someone that was just part of production and just was listening in the back while we were recording all the episodes. And maybe 5 or 6 episodes in, he stands up and says, I think I need therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we all in the room kind of had that moment, because we realized there are things that have been bottled up that we don't even realize it. We don't know what's there, and listening to Dr. Nicole and Crystal helps unlock those things. So what I would love to pull up the other clip that
Okay.
shows some of the other gems that happened during recording that season.
And while we're doing this, if you all have, thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Olivia. Yes, Olivia said, I need the Yummy membership. Yes, indeed. If you all have questions, put it in the chat. We want to answer your questions as well. All right, let's play the clip.
We used to say yummy just to describe any.
Hold on.
And the play is gonna be over there.
There we go.
If there's no standard of this is what success looks like, there's no structure. And how can I hold you accountable if we don't have that metric in place? We use that in business, but it also works in relationship.
Your 6-year-old caretaker self chose someone who always needs to be taken
Who's
care of.
sickly.
And then when you get tired of that, then you're like, I can't believe that they expect for me to take care of them and not look out for my own needs.
I thought I knew what I wanted,
Yeah.
but I couldn't even want high enough
That's yummy.
for what God had for me.
We've got the greatest access to ourselves. People that have access to you should have responsibility for that access.
I may have done something that rubbed her wrong, and we're like, okay, we're not gonna let the enemy toy with us in silence with this. We bring it to the table.
Not the mat.
The
You bring it to
table.
the mat is when you're trying to beat people down, cut them off at the knees, and you win. But if you're winning on those terms, everybody loses.
Proving, hiding, protecting, defending. If those are your decision drivers, then you're really not being your authentic self.
That liberated, free mindset gives you the opportunity to really say, is that the best?
Love it, love it, love it. How awesome is that, right?
Love it.
Very, very awesome. It was one topic that, I've been meaning to ask you about, Dr. Nicole. And in that clip, we hear it, that if there is a moment of not seeing eye to eye, that you go to the table and not the mat. How do we do that? Even especially if we're maybe that person that, I don't know, nobody in this call is that person. Absolutely not.
Right.
But say if they know someone that is that person, that when there's a moment of conflict, they go to the mat versus the table. What is that, and what does that look like, and how do we transition?
So, I grew up in a household with Caribbean parents, which means all my family is Caribbean. And the way we learned how to fight you could always tell that the method was somebody was going to survive and somebody was going to limp out or bleed out, right? Because in that armor of not being vulnerable, everything could be a war. And there wasn't just communication because there weren't a lot of tools, right? So if you're trying to defend yourself against an enemy, but then you need the enemy to survive to build life with, how do you do that, right? If every time we fight, it is to the mat. We are trying to debilitate one another so there is a declared winner. Then what do? When the person has been injured and they're bleeding all over the place, what do you then say? You want to go get some chicken? Like, like what happens, right? Because now the injury is based on the lack of understanding and the lack of tools that can make you vulnerable to be able to come to conclusions that can help you win together, where no one person loses and you're the winner for the moment. So again, there are a lot of things in these relationships at work, relationships with others, relationships with kids, spouses, bosses, these total relationships that are part of our everyday life, that if we don't have tools, they're harder. They're just harder. It's like trying to build a mansion on a vision, but you don't have no cement, you have no hammer, you have no drill, you have no saw. So you see it, but you don't have what's going to help it manifest. And that's why we're like, releasing yourself from your own personal prison is your job. That's your job. Freedom is available for all who want it, but it's recognizing you may not have all the tools at Hello on how to free yourself. So where are you going to get them? A new circle of friends, that sometimes helps. Starting to be authentic and do the work of getting rid of the baggage, that helps. What you consume, one of the reasons we wanted Yummy Podcast to be authentic is because we believe what you hear and see is consumption. It goes into your psyche. And if it's good, hopefully you do something with it. But if it's not good, it still sticks with you. And we were like, we wanted to put light in the world by giving other people opportunity to share their light, so that there could be tool enhancement for anybody who listens or watches.
You know, I love everything you said. And but maybe some of you are like me. I built the house. I built the Barbie dream house. Had the Ken and Barbie Corvette. Yeah, I built the whole thing, but I built it with duct tape and bubble gum. So it looked real good from the outside, right? But when the wind blew and the trouble came, it wasn't strong, right? And so sometimes from all appearances, we think, yeah, we've got it together, right? But it's duct taped with bubble gum in the crevices.
Right.
That's a good analogy.
Right?
That's a good analogy. Yeah.
So put a 1 in the chat if anything that we're saying is resonating with you.
Absolutely.
If you've got some journal notes from this conversation. Thank you, Rhoda. Thank you, Olivia. Comments.
And you're going to need them. Spoiler alert, you're going to need them.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, so you guys are dropping some really good nuggets, and I hope you guys are enjoying that. Please feel free to type in some of the favorite nuggets you've heard so far. But I also wanted to encourage you all to start thinking about, when you look back at what you wrote down, right? What's really keeping you from unlocking your ultimate, most meaningful yet? Zoe, Anako, Casey, Toya, Courtney, Milan, Chanel, Tamia, we're saying, we're calling out names, every single person that's listening here.
Mhm.
And that was the question.
Yeah.
What is your ultimate, most meaningful yet? What does that look like for you?
Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Fear, I for
Fear.
Angelia, yes. Ooh, that fear, I hear you, Olivia, fear, Angelia, yes. What else is keeping you from your ultimate, most meaningful yet?
Do you know one thing, and just my little 2 cents. I mean, like, who just for a little side note for the room, like, what do you contribute when you're like sitting with Oprah and Gail, right? I mean, what do you? I mean, just
I can't.
I can't.
I am David. Yes,
I'm David.
Somewhere around here, just kind of find my way. But one of the things, and I don't know if anyone in the room can identify, and maybe yeah, because I'm hearing confidence, I'm hearing fear, and I think that's even
Relinquishing control. Woo, Shonda, that was woo.
Yeah,
You said a mouthful right there.
Yeah. Has anybody ever lost the faith that maybe your ultimate, most meaningful yet maybe doesn't exist like you thought it once did?
Yeah.
That maybe in my 20s, I believed it was possible.
Yeah.
Maybe
That's
when I was
good.
18,
Yeah.
I knew.
Mm.
But now I'm over 30. I'm over 40. I'm not, but now
That's so good.
I've created habits, and honestly, I just don't see it.
Complacency, self-sabotage.
I love that
Bruh.
self-sabotage because I think
Mhm.
that speaks to what you're
Absolutely.
talking about. So
Mm.
what we realize is many of us in different aspects of our lives, we've been conditioned to self-sabotage.
Mhm.
We've been trained to self-sabotage. We practiced it over and over again. So when that's where you've been incubated in society, on a job, in your family, wherever, right? Women talk about this all the time because it seems like there's constantly a siege on us. But if you've been aware of that, then the question at some point has to become, what is my other option? Because that's not your only option. That's just the one you've practiced. There are other options, but that's the
good.
one you've practiced. So
That's
the
really
same way you can be strong at that, you can say, that ain't serving me no more. And when I look at the evidence of what that has done, that's not what I want. And we contend, it doesn't matter how old you are. It really does not matter how old you are. You still have breath in your body. So it's not over. But the self-sabotage will put that cap on you over and over again. So it's releasing that practice and saying, what am I going to do now that celebrates the freedom that I really want to experience in my life? I only got one shot.
And Bridget says, why do we do that? And Bridget, it's that self-sabotage is it's almost like the belief system is an airplane, right? You're flying at 30,000 feet, right? You have a new idea, you want to do something different, you are pursuing your yummy, you start to rise higher. Self-sabotage is it brings you back to your belief system, right? It's like how a plane, if you hit an air pocket and it readjusts itself because it's on autopilot. Self-sabotage is that autopilot to bring you back in line with your belief system. How many of you have said, who do you think you are? Or somebody has said to you, who do you think you are? Or you said to yourself, I'm not qualified for doing it. Who's going to listen to me? Everybody is doing X, Y, Z. I can't do that, right? I'm just like we said earlier, all those self-sabotaging thoughts that we have. How many of you know that you are your worst critic? You are your worst critic. And so the reason we do that, Bridget, is because we've got to change the belief system. Otherwise, self-sabotage will work against us to bring us back in line with what we truly believe in our soul. So we have to do the work to liberate ourselves from those belief systems. And that comes when you unpack those things. You have to unpack and get beneath the surface of those thoughts. Why am I saying these things to myself?
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
Where did that come from?
Mhm.
Where did that come from? And so when you start to unpack that and do your work, then you have the opportunity, because we always say when you know better, you have the opportunity to do better. We don't always do better when we know better, but we have the opportunity to do better when we know better, right?
And that's why coaches and therapists and accountability partners and all these folks are great, because they ask you the questions that help you focus on where you really want to go.
Mhm.
They are the advocate that is not in your core belief system that may be afraid of some of the same things you're afraid of.
Mhm.
So you sabotage yourself because of your belief system. And guess who's often in your same belief system? Your family.
Mhm.
And guess who has access to you? Your friends and your family, and those who may be afraid of the same thing. So if everybody's like, oh my God, apartment living is the only way that we know, and you're the first to say you want to get a house, do not be surprised that those who grew in that same belief system are like, you know, they taking people houses.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're gonna give people money for that? How you know they not gonna take your money? Can you afford that? Oh my God, it's gonna mess up your credit. It's what they know. So you've got to pull away and say, listen, I'm trying to do something different. I don't even really know how to do it. And when the stress and the wall comes, because the wall is going to come. If you've never been a homeowner, I think it's a great example, because when they say to you, okay, so the down payment is this, you're like, I'm sorry, what? How much is the down payment? And they're like, yes, and the taxes are this. And would you like that in your mortgage? Or how would you like that? You're like, what? I got to pay taxes. Oh my God, can I do this? And you start to shake. Somebody who's done it 2 or 3 times can say, oh, that's regular. That's how it's done. Oh, don't worry about that. My first house was the same way. But you've got to have another community that has a higher ceiling
Mhm.
than what you're used to,
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
right? Because they're not going to be afraid at 45 feet ceilings. But if all you know is 10 feet ceilings, you're like, oh my God, is there enough oxygen for all of us? And they're like, there's more. The room is making your gifts are making room for you. It's expanding your territory. So that's in part how we deal with self-sabotage. We start to stack the deck in our favor, not just with the comfort that's not really comfortable, it's just familiar.
Yes, yes, yes. There was a comment earlier,
Here, this
the one above.
This one?
No, further up. Zoe said, I have, when something goes my way at first, I tend to give up. I need to learn to keep the faith. And that's when it goes your way. And I think that's interesting, because I feel like self-sabotage is a close cousin to the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
We have, when we throw out fear,
Yeah.
we often think that it's fear of failure, but fear of success is real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fear of success is real. What happens if I am living my yummy life? What happens to
I lose friends.
yeah, what happens to those relationships that are at 30,000 feet with me now, and I go to 40,000 feet?
Yeah.
What happens? What happens? What will people want more of me? Will people expect more of me? And then the higher I go, the longer the fall.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The taller the tree, the harder the fall.
Yep.
So a lot of times, that fear of success it pulls for self-sabotage just as strong or stronger than the fear of failure.
I agree.
And that's one of the reasons I love the podcast, because we are exposing some gems and ideas and maskless conversations that give the listener and the viewer options.
Mhm, mhm.
I don't want to be the only person that I listen to,
Yeah.
because my level of exposure is based on where I am at this point and what I've been exposed to.
Yeah.
So giving people the opportunity to see other people speak without the mask
Mhm.
and speak about genuine life experiences where you could say, wow, if that person is experiencing that, how does that relate to what I'm going through right now? How does that encourage me? How does that challenge me? How does that make me pick up the phone and say, wow, I got some referrals to a coach 3 years ago, and I've been saying what I'm going to do, but now I'm like, stop talking about it
Yeah.
and be about it.
Sure.
It's that push that's
That's-
necessary.
Yeah, that's what I love about the podcast, because we get an opportunity,
Yeah.
and we've designed it to be a safe space. And so we get an opportunity to talk to some really successful, amazing people
Mhm.
that every day have to wear those masks,
Mhm.
especially in public.
Absolutely.
Right? They've got to wear those masks, and it's like they're not ready for what happens on the Yummy podcast.
Absolutely.
Like Gary says, I thought this was gonna be some bull, right? They're
Right.
not ready for what happens. And when we have the conversations, and you'll see it in the episodes, you can literally see when the mask falls off. And you can see when the transformation starts to happen.
Yeah.
And that's when it really gets yummy. That's what Dr. Nicole and I love. You can see when the transformation starts to happen. And they're like, oh, I never thought of it like that.
Absolutely.
And, and they're like, oh my, y'all got me out here naked. But it's a good
It's
space.
a good space.
Because we create a safe space where you can come without the mask, and we're not going to judge you,
Yeah.
because we understand this is a human experience that we're all having.
Mhm.
And we understand that when you don't have to hide, protect, prove, or defend, that's when the yummy really starts.
Yeah, for sure.
So now, spoiler alert, we're going to the audience.
Yay.
So we have at least 1 or 2 more gift cards, maybe.
Yeah.
So I want to know who's ready to accept the challenge, right? So you all took some notes and wrote down what your yummy looks like. And so we want to know from one of you who is willing to share, and whoever is open to sharing, we would love to have you share. And we can even offer possibly offer a gift card to you.
Yeah.
But we want to use this because this is a movement, and it's a movement. And now even everybody that's in Zoom link can be able to hold as accountability. So we saw Tashea come off on her, we saw the camera come on there.
Yay. Come on, Tashea.
Hi, Tashea from Switzerland.
Hello. Oh my gosh.
Hello. Thank you.
So took lots of notes, and I enjoy whenever you all get together, and so blessed to be in your presence and get the word this evening, because it's morning, evening, my time. So the part that really resonated with me was the me first, and not to imprison those around me, right? Because a lot of the message that you said ring true about interactions with others, how you show up and how you expect to be treated. But for me also, what jumped out most importantly is I don't want to imprison my husband and my family. And so that was kind of the new aha moment, is that I got to get right with myself because I love them too. And I don't want to perpetuate this or imprison them with me.
Oh, that's
Oh,
so
that's
good.
good.
Thank
for
you.
sharing that.
Thank you
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
much.
Yes.
Michelle, please send your in message or send a message to Milan Martin with your email so we can get you a gift card.
And what time is it in Switzerland?
2:15.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Being intentional about investing in yourself. Oh my
Yes,
gosh, thank you
yes,
so
thank you so
much
much.
for being here.
Who
Who
else?
else?
Did I see a Neko?
Yes,
Come
this
on
was a,
through.
hi, this was a confirmation of some of the things that I've been struggling because you guys have eaten off your plate before, and it actually landed me my dream job that I stayed on for a year. And I just always take with me the things that you said about connection. And so now I kind of was having that starving moment. So everything you guys are saying is now, it was that I needed to hear, because sometimes, like you said, we could be our worst enemy and just doubting and not even, we talk about believing in what we do. We have all the tools, but sometimes I think we struggle not believing that you are enough. What else is you're going to pour into yourself, especially when you're a constant learner? So it's that self-talk. It's, I surround myself around the right people. I go to the right things. I read the right books, but then it's that childhood experience that I'm living as an adult of always having to, if I got an A, it was always, well, the teacher would say, well, you're too bad to be smart. So it's just sometimes those recordings, they don't play in my mind, but they play in my spirit.
Mm.
And so sometimes we think we've gone through the therapy, we did that, and we know the triggers, but do I have control over the flashbacks? And that's where coming here tonight, being fed to say, I have to get control over the flashbacks and how am I going to get to the next level? And there's so much more work that I can do. And like I said, coming to you here, I took a position where I was not qualified, but I had the courage, the confidence to take it. And it was you, Dr. Nicole, that asked one key question about things we did. And the one thing was, when I interviewed, was connection. You've got to have a connection with people. So I just said coming here gave me, and I'm repeating myself, but it's just confirmation of keep working at it. You're getting there. You're being able to identify and assess what your struggles are. And I'm not afraid to look in the mirror or to have people give me feedback. I embrace it. Thank you.
Thank
That's
you
awesome.
so
Very
much.
awesome.
And that brings up a thought, right? So I think it was Tiger Woods. They were talking about Tiger Woods having 9 coaches when he was in his prime. And it amazes me sometimes how we really think we're supposed to go through life without any support.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I've got that Scooby look on my face, don't I? We need it at every level of this lifing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when we're thinking that we're going to get an award for doing it by ourselves, I don't know. Have you guys recognized there are no awards?
Mm-hmm.
You don't get any cookies. Nobody delivers brownies because you did it by yourself. The cost of doing that is so detrimental that hopefully what starts to happen is you say, all these people have advisory boards and companies have executive boards, and this one has 9 coaches to be amazing and to leverage his talent. Who do I have?
Mm-hmm.
And not just your friends, right? Because you do need people who can hear your authentic self, question, do your actions line up with that? Or they're able to see something is holding you, or better, you're holding something that you won't let go.
Right.
There's got to be that. And the good thing is we get to build our team of people that help us get to our next highest best self.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I have a therapist.
Me too.
So do I.
Life changing.
Yes.
Yeah, I've had coaches and therapists because I'm like, I want the yummy.
Yeah, I
And
have a board of
trying to-
directors
right,
that
trying to
includes
get it
my
on my
therapist.
own.
I get it. I totally
Trying to
get
get
it.
it on my own, it's just a
Yeah.
killjoy
Mhm.
because it is impossible.
Yeah.
So the choice is yours.
The choice is completely yours. And one of the key factors is doing the work, right?
Yeah.
Doing the work. And part of doing the work is getting the knowledge and the resources that you'll get within the Yummy podcast. So there's 8 episodes, I want to say.
Oh,
12 episodes. Duh, David,
Yeah.
12. I'm thinking of a show. It's whatever. 12 episodes of knowledge. You have both episodes where it's just Crystal and Dr. Nicole.
Yeah.
We have episodes where there's celebrity guests, and then we have some episodes with non-celebrity guests
Yeah.
as well, just to get a variety of different perspectives, but there's still the same yummy goodness. So we want to make sure that there's at least a couple homework assignments out there, right? For anyone that's not already following at Crystal and Dr. Nicole, please do so on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere. So you can always stay abreast on all the updates. Also stay tuned to, of course, everything else that Crystal and Dr. Nicole are doing with the Women Unlimited Live, as well as the membership. We already saw somebody that's looking for the Yummy membership. So please stay involved, stay connected.
And also for all of you audio listeners, our podcast is now live on iTunes. So please subscribe. You guys listen, we know how these algorithms work. So we really need you to support us. Subscribe, like, and share. Subscribe, like, and share. It is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Because if anything we said tonight blesses you, or if anything you see on the podcast blesses you, sharing it will bless others. And it's the ripple effect. And it's why we do what we do. We really do everything in service, humility, and excellence, and service to the kingdom. And we really just want people to live their ultimate, most meaningful yet. So the more of us that shine our lights and use our lights to shine them on what's good in the world, the better. So please, iTunes, YouTube, like, subscribe, and share, and help us get the good word out.
And definitely not least, maybe last, but definitely not least, we want to thank everybody that is in the room tonight.
Oh, man.
There are so many things you could be doing.
Yeah.
And for us, we recognize you being here says a couple of things, or at least it's how we're interpreting it.
Yeah.
It says that you believe we're responsible and worthy of being in your space, because something is going to enlighten your life in some way. You may be family, you may be friends, so you just love us and you want to see us win, and you want us to win together. And we just don't take any of that lightly.
Yeah.
That you are spending some of your time with us, that you'll be driving next week and listening and laughing, or you'll be sitting down doing work and have the podcast on and you'll send us a note. All of it matters to us so much. So we just want to say from the bottom of our heart, thank you, because truthfully, you are part of the Yummy for us.
And to all of we are live on YouTube as well. All of our new subscribers, our new people, our new family, our new tribe on YouTube live. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to you taking this yummy journey with us as well. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
And be sure to stay tuned to a possible Yummy podcast live coming to a city near you. So stay tuned. Thank
Love
you
you guys.
Shout out to our sponsors once again. Sandra, thank you so much again for everything. And you
And
guys,
Kevin Harvey's on here. Kevin Harvey introduced us, y'all. Shout out to Kevin Harvey.
We love you, bro.
We see you. We love you. Thank you, everybody.
take
Thanks,
care.
everybody.
Enjoy the night.
Thanks, congratulations.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.